Well, now that we are up and into our third week of studying the I am statements, and I know not all of you watch every single video, even if you can't make it live, you don't always make things up. It's probably worth a little bit of review. We talked about what I ams are in general as we started with bread, but you may have forgotten by now all the crazy, unprecedented things that have happened since then, what it represents, and what the importance is of Jesus saying those two strange Greek words, ego, me. I personally, I myself, I specifically am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. I am the gate. Why does he say I am that way? And why do we make such a big deal about it in the church? He said, oh, I am. Like, how many times a day do you say I am? Well, it's because he is referencing Exodus. He's referencing the holy name of God, the unutterable name of God. In fact, there is a secret I am statement. We talk about the 7 I am statements, right? There's 7 metaphors in the Gospel of John where Jesus says I am and then proceeds to tell us something which, plainly speaking, he is not, right? I mean, Jesus, who doesn't tell lies, said, I am bread. I am light. No, Jesus, you're a person. Well, it's a metaphor. Except that there was one time when he said it, and it wasn't a metaphor. That comes in the Gospel of John, chapter 8. I hope you'll turn there with me. Gospel of John, chapter 8, verses 48 to 59. Man, I'm going to own it, this sword drill. I turned right there. 48. The Jews answered him, are we not right in saying that you are a Samaritan and a demon? And Jesus answered, I do not have a demon, but I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. Yet I do not seek my own glory. There is one who seeks it, and he is the judge. Very truly, I tell you, whoever keeps my word will never see death. The Jews said to him, now we know that you have a demon. Abraham died, and so did the prophets. Yet you say, whoever keeps my word will never taste death. Are you greater than our father Abraham, who died? The prophets also died. Who do you claim to be? Jesus answered, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. For it is my Father who glorifies me. He whom you say he is our God, though you don't know him, but I know him. If I would say that I do not know him, I would be a liar like you. But I do know him, and I keep his word. Your ancestor Abraham rejoiced that he would see my day. He saw it, and he was glad. Then the Jews said to him, you are not 50 years old, and you've seen Abraham? Jesus said to them, very truly I tell you, before Abraham was, I am. So they picked up stones to throw at him. But Jesus himself went out to the temple. Why did they pick up stones? Because he said he was the I am. He used the ineffable name of God, and that is blasphemy. And so many of these statements connect with this ancient heritage, these everlasting precepts since the creation of the world. And so, as I was praying and as I was seeking and as I looked for resources to find what it is that we believe and what we ought to believe, and what the people in the first century who were sitting listening to Jesus as he made claims about being the door would interpret, I sought help from friends who were smarter than me, and I received an offer from literally my best case scenario. Like, if I could pick one person to help us understand this theological concept better, it would have been this person. His name is Rabbi Neil Blumoff. He is brilliant. He is an incredible, relatable teacher, and he has made a video just for us about doors within Judaism and the Jewish tradition surrounding doors. And let me tell you, people, the rabbinic Jews, they do doors. Like, they do doors way better than we do. So let's listen and learn from Rabbi Neil Blumoff.
Hey everybody, my name is Rabbi Neil Blumoff, and I'm the Senior Rabbi of Congregation Agudas Achim in Austin, Texas. Hoping that you're doing really well, and just wanted to think a little bit about this idea of doorways and doors within the Jewish tradition. Now, I happen to be standing in my doorway, and this is a doorway in Judaism that speaks about a liminal space, which means it's not really here nor there. It represents a portal between two worlds, and that can represent tremendous opportunity and blessing, or it could represent a sense of danger or anxiety. So what we do in Judaism, as you can see here, we have a mezuzah. A mezuzah is essentially a box with scrolls in it. I'm going to come in Mr. Rogers style. We're going to get it together. I'm going to be comfortable. So you're welcome into my office as well. And on every door in Judaism is this mezuzah, and it has scrolls within it from basically the book of Deuteronomy and Numbers, which speak about the unity of God. And when we speak about doors and doorways, I just wanted to check in with you. There's a Psalm 24, which we really like. I'll just read the Hebrew for you. Se'u sha'arim rashechem v'hinasu pitchei olam, v'yavo melech hakavod, mi ze melech hakavod, Hashem izuz v'gibor, Hashem gibor le'olam. So lift high your lintels, O you gates, open wide your ancient doors, and welcome the glorious King. Again, Psalm 24. And the mezuzah is a sense of intentionality, and it's a way of blessing a moment when you walk or pass between two doors, or pass between literally two worlds, between the world that you're in and the world of possibility that you're entering as you enter into a doorway. You talk a lot about a mezuzah. I won't. I'll talk a little bit about a mezuzah. A mezuzah has the scrolls within it, but it also has on the outside, every mezuzah has the Hebrew letter Shin, which stands for one of the Hebrew names for God, which is Shaddai, which means essentially aspirational, or what is going to happen when I enter into this space? What is the possibility? What are the holy moments that I can begin? What are the relationships that I can deepen? What is the authenticity that I can live that can bring goodness into the world? Shaddai, it literally means hilltops or mountains, and it's something that we raise our heads up to recognize a sense of hope. And there's a difference as we perhaps hunch over our phones or our computers, but there's a practice of going out into the world to really kind of stand up tall and look around and notice what is there, and that is really what is to be gained by noticing the mezuzah there too. Shaddai also represents this name Shaddai for God, but it also could be Shaddai, which means is it enough, or that which is enough. So another idea of going through a doorway in Judaism would be, am I satisfied? What do I need to do to recognize my gratitude, my abundance? And specifically when you go home, when there are mezuzot, that's plural of mezuzah, on one's door, is my home enough? Is my partner enough? Is my family enough? Are the choices that I'm making enough? It may not be exactly what I had thought, but is it enough? And it's an important aspect for us to think about as we live our lives. Maybe there's some desperation, maybe there's some regret, maybe there's a sense of estrangement from certain ideas we may once have had. But the mezuzah recognizes that as we pass into something that is our sanctuary, which is secure for us, it is a recognition that we can take hold of our blessings. We can hold fast to our blessings and open the door and allow holiness and our God to enter into the space with us. So I'm in a place of sanctuary for me. It's my office. Just kind of show you around a little bit. It's kind of nice. So when I come in from the outdoors, which I'll show you, coming in, walking in this way, you'll see here's the door and here's the mezuzah. That is something I dwell upon. There's sometimes people offer a sense of touching it and kissing it and recognizing that that is an important aspect of things. So as one would walk into one's space, one pauses at the liminal moment, at the lintel, if you will, recognizes the mezuzah, maybe gives it a kiss, or in social distancing and pandemic, maybe bring it to the heart, and then enter into the space as a sense of transformation, as a sense of possibility. So I hope that that is an interesting introduction to the idea of doorways within Judaism. Again, keep in touch, and thank you so much for your curiosity, and may we continue to find ways to connect together. Be well, everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rabbi, and thank you, Congregation Agudas Achim, for sharing him with us this day as we continue our study about these liminal spaces from a liminal space, this between space, this portal between worlds. I love that he used that word. That's one of those big college words, I like those. But the idea of being in between, the idea of being on the edge, that's where so much incredible stuff happens. That's where people meet God, in the between spaces, in the liminal spaces, on the edge. Not when we go way off the edge, over the edge into chaos. Not when we stay in our comfort zone, but only when we find that little spot between and we teach ourselves how to stay there. Well, it's about time for our New Testament reading for the day, don't you think? Let's turn in our Bibles to John chapter 10. Now, don't read too far ahead in John chapter 10. You'll find out a little too much about next week. John chapter 10, verses 1 to 10. John is in the New Testament. Chapter 10 is after chapter 9. You'll find it at the beginning of chapter 10, is verse 1. Very truly I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them. And the sheep follow, because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but they will run from him because they don't know the voice of strangers. Jesus used this figure of speech, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again, Jesus said to them, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep didn't listen to them. I'm the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life, have it abundantly. We have a gate. Jesus is the gate, and he exists so that we have life and can have it abundantly. I have to admit, it's kind of uncomfortable to talk about this statement. Jesus says, I am the door, during a time in the life of our congregation when the most prominent, the most familiar, the most iconic doors of our congregation, the front door, has been closed for months. Do you feel uncomfortable? Do you feel a little bit liminal about that? How are we going to talk about doors when our door is closed? But doors are supposed to close. That's one of the good things about doors, right? Like they close. If they didn't close, they wouldn't be doors. They would just be nothing. A void, darkness, a hole in the wall. Because when a door closes, it symbolizes safety. It represents safety and security. It keeps things from changing that shouldn't change. It keeps the sheep from running away and getting lost and getting hurt. Keeps the thieves out. Keeps them from coming in. When a door is open, gate is open, it symbolizes welcome, symbolizes opportunity, symbolizes the possibility that something might enter in, that something might change, that needs to change, that something might come and provide. And a door does both. It exists in that between space. It's the way through, because it can exist in both shapes, both forms. It's really a pretty special thing for something so basic, right? Hopefully this sounds kind of familiar to some of you, and it might even bring to mind for a number of you our discussion of the book Boundaries, when we had that series over through that door. And we gathered together and we talked about this important Christian principle of when to say yes and when to say no. How it is that it can be loving and it can be good to tell people who are asking for things that they ought not be asking for, no, I will not give you that. No, I will not do that for you. And how it can be loving and it can be right, even when we've made a decision that we are uncomfortable with something, to go ahead and open up, to go ahead and crack that gate open, that our boundaries aren't walls that are permanent and immutable, but our boundaries are things that have openings in them, things with gates and doors. Of course, I would be remiss if I had this whole discussion about doors and about access and getting in and getting out if I did not introduce you to my favorite door in the entire world. The coolest door that I have ever seen. It's in Turkey, in Istanbul. That is where you will see the Hagia Sophia, which looks like this, and the doors of the Hagia Sophia, which look like that. These doors are enormous, way taller than any reasonable human person would need. And the tradition is that what happened was after Noah's Ark, you remember Noah's Ark, right? And does anybody remember where Noah's Ark landed? After 40 days and 40 nights, the flood subsided and the ark landed on Mount Ararat in modern-day Turkey. The tradition says that after Noah and his family got out of the ark and began to dwell on dry land, years later, civilization took apart the ark and used it to build things, build churches, build their homes. And eventually, that wood was used to build the Hagia Sophia. And specifically, the doors of the Hagia Sophia, because the vast majority of the Hagia Sophia is made of stone, marble. What an incredible tradition. I don't know if it's true. I can't say that. But what a statement to say that after the flood, after the time when God just washed away so much, this incredibly difficult time, moving away from the primordial world into the world that we live in now, we took apart the ark. We made a door because we needed a way forward. We needed a portal. We needed something to mark our movement in to a new kind of space, this Hagia Sophia space, and we needed a way to shut it behind us. New opportunity.